We've got some absolutely crazy official Marvel and DC news, from a character being cut from the Fantastic Four First Steps to a new leader of the Avengers in Doomsday and Secret Wars that nobody saw coming. The Batman Part 3 was accidentally confirmed by an actor in the movie, plus updates about the Wonder Woman and Supergirl movie, so we gotta get into all of this. We're gonna start with the Fantastic Four First Steps because the director of the movie, Matt Shakman, did an interview with Variety and we got a ton of new information about this movie now. In this interview, he has confirmed that John Malkovich has been cut from the Fantastic Four First Steps, which is kind of disappointing. Obviously, he is a great actor and he was revealed in the very first teaser for the movie. It seemed all but guaranteed that he was only going to be playing a minor villain called a Red Ghost that was probably just going to be in a montage at the very beginning of the movie, so maybe they decided, hey, let's just cut him from this movie and save John Malkovich maybe for a bigger role down the line. Also, according to this interview, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards will officially be the leader of the Avengers in Doomsday and Secret Wars, or that's at least what all these clickbait articles want you to think. Because I was thinking to myself, there's no way the director of the Fantastic Four First Steps would just spoil something this big, so I went in and read the exact quote, and this is what he has to say. When talking about Reed Richards being a challenging role to cast, the director says he goes from being the nerdy scientist who's locked away in the lab to the husband and father who do anything to protect his family to the guy who's leading the Avengers. And then Matt Shakman went on to say, I realized that the version we were building had to have all of those elements, which obviously includes being the guy that ends up leading the Avengers. Me personally, I think he's talking more about the characteristics that this character needed to have, and not necessarily that he's going to be leading the Avengers in Doomsday and Secret Wars, because that would kind of make no sense since he's from a different dimension and literally has never interacted with any of these other Avengers, and we know there's Sam Wilson leading this new Avengers team. And I think what's more likely is that after the Fantastic Four have their own solo movie, they're in both these two Avengers films, and we know they're planning a sequel for the Fantastic Four already, maybe in the next Avengers films after Secret Wars. Then that's when Reed Richards will maybe step into that leadership role. I think people are kind of running away with this quote and going wild with it. But let me know in the comments below, do you think Reed Richards is actually going to become the leader of the Avengers in these next two movies or not? Now let's move on to the only thing in this video that's not official news. This is just a rumor from a very credible insider, but they say that Samuel L. Jackson will reportedly return as Nick Fury in Avengers Doomsday. I do kind of hope this is true because I feel like Samuel L. Jackson obviously was such a huge part of the earlier phases of the MCU, but then things just got so big and out of hand with Infinity War and Endgame that he just was absolutely sidelined in those movies. Now again, the cast of these films are even bigger, so I don't know if there's any room for him to have a major role, but it would be cool to see him one more time. Variety has also gone on to confirm that the Fantastic Four First Steps has a budget of around $200 million. It seems like these big superhero blockbuster films just do not get made for any less than this nowadays. Let's switch over to DC, and before we get to the upcoming movies like Batman Part 2 and 3 and Wonder Woman, let's stick with the movie that's currently in theaters and get a quick box office update, because on Tuesday the movie pulled in $17 million at the box office, and you can see the comparisons here, way bigger than a lot of other similar movies and big blockbusters. And yesterday on Wednesday the movie pulled in another 11 million, which really shows the word of mouth is spreading about this film. People are going and checking it out after the opening weekend. It looks like it's going to make a ton of money in its second weekend too. Moving on to some Batman news, Warner Brothers is apparently thrilled with the script for the Batman Part 2 that Matt Reeves handed in about a week or two ago. But the bigger takeaway is actually from an interview with Colin Farrell, where he talked about the fact that there is generally no season 2 of the Penguin in the works, but he did accidentally kind of confirm the Batman Part 3, because he goes on and says, yeah, there's Batman 2, which I haven't read the script for yet, and then there's Batman 3. I don't know if I'm in them, but hopefully I'll read Batman 2 soon. Now, it seems very obvious Colin Farrell's Penguin will be in at least Part 2. Now, we already kind of assumed there was going to be a Part 3. A lot of people just assumed, yeah, this is going to be a trilogy, but an actor coming out and confirming that, yeah, they are working on a Part 3. A lot of people are theorizing that maybe Matt Reeves was at least working on the scripts for Part 2 and 3 at the same time. That's why it took so long. Maybe he doesn't have the Part 3 script fully finalized, but he maybe wanted to get an outline of where this entire trilogy was going to go and end before he handed in the Part 2 script, and that could be the reason for the delay. And nothing's guaranteed, it's just theories based off of this one quote from Colin Farrell, but I do think that would be the best possible outcome. If after having to wait like 5 years for the Batman Part 2, then maybe like 1 or 2 years later, we already get the Batman Part 3 because they filmed them very close or back to back. We got our first official poster for the Supergirl movie coming out next summer, released from DC, and as you can see here, they're playing with the look up slogan for the Superman movie, but writing over that look out instead, because we know that Kara, Supergirl, is going to be kind of a lost cause in this movie. At least at the beginning, she's had a very troubled childhood. She's going to be acting very different than what Superman was because of her upbringing. Very smart of DC to capitalize on the hype of Superman by releasing this poster. Like, look at this. On TikTok, just this photo post of the poster alone has 784,000 likes. Now, we've already known that they've been working on a script for the upcoming new Wonder Woman movie in the DCU, but now we know that the film is being fast-tracked at DC Studios. It looks like they're really trying to get this greenlit, ready to go, and probably have a casting announcement sometime soon to again capitalize on the hype of this new DC universe. I think this is very smart from DC because yes, we had Superman this year. For movies next year, it's Supergirl and then Clayface, which again, I'm hoping is good, but still seems very odd. That's not going to be a huge hit or anything. So I think DC's kind of realizing, hey, we need to focus in. If we're not going to have a new Batman movie soon, we need to get a Wonder Woman movie out by probably like 2027 at the latest. If you want to see my ranking of every single upcoming DC film by how excited I am for it, click the video at the top. Or if you want to see an insane new clip Marvel release from the Fantastic Four First Steps, click the video at the bottom.